Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Muhammad Zuki or Cikgu Zuki, and in this video we will learn about chapter 1 for signs from tree, stimuli and responses. And for this chapter there are 4 content standards. Okay, 1.1 human nervous system, 1.2 stimuli and responses in human, 1.3 stimuli and responses in plants, and 1.4 importance of responses towards stimuli in other animals. Okay, and in this video we'll learn about 1.1 human nervous system. Okay, let's take a look at this content standard. Okay, and for this content standard 1.1, we have 3 learning standards. Okay, 1.1.1 describe the structures and functions of human nervous system through drawings. 1.1.2 make a sequence to show the pathway of impulses in voluntary and involuntary actions, and 1.1.3 justify the importance of human nervous system in life. Okay, let's take a look for 1.1.1 first. Okay, describe the structures and functions of human nervous system through drawings. Okay, let's imagine okay, in a game of badminton, the first one, the movement of the shuttlecock serves as a stimulus that is detected by the eye. An impulse is triggered and sent to the brain. Okay, then the brain interprets the impulse, estimates the speed of the shuttlecock, and determines the direction and the pattern of body movement. And lastly, the brain then sends impulses to the hand and leg muscles to respond. Okay, let's take a look at the structures. Okay, this is the structures of human nervous system. Alright, human nervous system consists of central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Okay, and for central nervous system there are brain, okay, and spinal cord, and for the peripheral nervous system there are cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Okay, and peripheral nervous system consists of 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, 12 pairs of cranial nerves connecting the brain to the sensory and internal organs, and 31 pairs of spinal nerves connecting the spinal cord to the skeletal muscles. Okay, okay, then let's take a look at the functions of the human nervous system. The human nervous system controls and coordinates organs and parts of the body. The human nervous system detects stimuli, sends information in the form of impulses, interprets impulses, and produces appropriate responses. Okay, and take a look at the photographs. Photographs 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3 shows examples of daily activities that involve detection of stimuli and production of responses to the stimuli detected. State the stimulus and response in each of the daily activities shown. Okay, so that's the function of the human nervous system. Alright, so after that let's take a look at the second second content standard. Okay, 1.1.2, make a sequence to show the pathway of impulses in voluntary and involuntary actions. Okay, so what's in here? Okay, these are the examples of responses of the human body. Okay, like reading a book, withdrawing hand from a hot object, and a peristalsis in esophagus. Alright, based on figure 1.2, which response is a voluntary action and which is an involuntary action? Okay, let's take a look. Involuntary actions. Okay, what's the meaning of, okay, the first one is voluntary actions. What's the meaning of voluntary action? Voluntary actions are conscious actions and conducted under one's will. Okay, and it is controlled by the voluntary actions controlled by the brain. Okay, what are the examples of voluntary actions? Reading, writing, speaking, eating, drinking, walking, running, exercising, and so on. Okay, and let's take a look at the pathway of impulse. All right, so this is the stimulus. Okay, the phone rings is the stimulus, and then the effector or receptor in human ear. Okay, nerve impulse is sent to the brain, and then nerve impulse is then sent by the brain to the effector. Okay, that is muscle or gland, and then respond, touch the screen. Okay, the finger touch the screen. All right, that's the pathway of impulse for the voluntary action. Okay, for the voluntary actions. Okay, what are the activity for this for the voluntary actions? One activity here, measuring the reaction time by catching a free falling ruler. All right, the aim is to measure reaction time. Apparatus, half-meter ruler. Instructions: work with a partner. Ask your partner to hold the end of a half-meter ruler as shown in figure 1.4. And number 3, place your hand at the end of the ruler close to the 0 mark without touching it as shown in figure 1.4. And your partner will release the ruler without warning, and you must try to catch the ruler as quickly as possible. Okay, number 5, record the distance of the ruler fell, x, that is the scale on the ruler when you catch it. The distance x is the measurement of your reaction time. Repeat this activity 4 times, then calculate the average distance, x average. Let's look at the figure, at the diagram. Okay, figure 1.4. Okay, and then the questions. In this activity, state the stimulus and its response. Is the response a voluntary action or an involuntary action? Explain. Number 2, why is the distance the ruler fell considered as the reaction time? Number 3, explain the difference in the reaction time among the students in the class. And number 4, what is the importance of reaction time in our daily life? Right? And the conclusion, for the conclusion, draw a conclusion on the reaction time of the students in your class. Okay. So that's the activity for voluntary actions. Then let's take a look at the involuntary actions. Meaning, what's the meaning of involuntary actions? Okay, the actions that occur immediately without conscious control or prior thoughts. Okay, and involuntary actions are classified into involving medulla oblongata and involving spinal cord reflex actions. All right, this is medulla oblongata. Okay, this is spinal cord. All right, and heartbeat, breathing, peristalsis, secretion of saliva. Okay, this all these are involving medulla oblongata, right? And then let's take a look at the process that involves spinal cord that are called reflex actions. All right, withdrawing hand when it accidentally touches a hot object. Withdrawing foot when it accidentally steps on a sharp object. Sneezing when dust enters the nose. All right, and after that, pathway of impulse. Okay, the pathway of impulse for involuntary actions. This is for reflex action. Okay, for this one involving spinal cord. So this is your finger or anybody's finger. Okay, the effector or receptor accidentally touches the hot object, right? And what happened is the effector send the impulse to the spinal cord, and the spinal cord and then send the impulse to the effector to the effector. Okay, to the effector, and then the effector or the finger here quickly or immediately release from the hot object. Okay, that's the pathway of impulse in an involuntary action, reflex action. All right, and for this for the involuntary actions, there are two activities, 1.2 and 1.3. Okay, and for activity 1.2, to create a presentation on the parts involved in the transmission of impulse from the effector to the effector, the pathway of impulses in voluntary and involuntary actions. All right, and the instructions. Work in groups. Each group is required to create a presentation to illustrate the following: the parts involved in the transmission of impulse from the effector to the effector, the pathway of impulses in voluntary and involuntary actions. Right, and for the activity 1.3, detecting changes in the size of the pupil, in the size towards light intensity, involuntary action. Aim to observe changes in the size of the pupil of the eye towards different light intensities, apparatus, mirror, and lamp. Okay, the instructions. Okay, number 1, identify the pupil of the eye, figure 1.6. Then number 2, observe the pupil using a mirror and a bright light. Sketch the size of the pupil. Number 3, observe the pupil in dim light. Sketch the size of the pupil. And number 4, compare and contrast the size of the pupils in bright and dim lights. Okay, and questions. Number 1, in this activity, state the stimulus and its response. Is the response a voluntary or an involuntary action? Explain. Number 2, what is the relationship between the size of the pupil and light intensity? Number 3, what is the importance of this response? Conclusion. Draw a conclusion about the changes in the size of the pupil towards light intensity. Okay, that's the activity for 1.3. Okay, so we have covered 1.1.2, and lastly 1.1.3, justify the importance of human nervous system in life. Okay, the network of human nervous system controls and coordinates the organs and parts of the body to carry out processes in the body, such as breathing and body movements. A damaged nervous system normally causes a person to become temporarily, partially, or completely paralyzed. Humans are blessed with a nervous system, so they should use and take good care of it. Alright, so we have covered 3 learning standards for content standard 1.1, human nervous system. Okay, so that's all for today, and see you again. Thank you.